Today I have 10 Tubi horror movies that are lesser known, but are really worth watching.
They have no idea of the evil that walks in this world.
These are hidden gems that tend to fly under the radar, and the best part is you can watch them free on Tubi right now. My name's Johnny, and today I'll be taking a deep dive into 10 Tubi horror movies you probably have never seen. But first I want to thank my friends at Insane Labz for sponsoring this video. They've sent me 3 products from their Saw lineup. And depending on what you're looking for in the gym, they've pretty much got you covered. I mean, look at this packaging. This is freaking awesome. First up is Psychotic Saw, their intense pre-workout. This stuff packs 350 milligrams of caffeine, along with some strong stimulant ingredients. So it's made for those days when you need some serious energy to get through a tough workout. I've been using this pre-workout myself, and it's really been helping me push myself and crush my workouts. Then there's Saw Bloodbath. This one's completely caffeine free, and it's all about blood flow, vascularity, and getting an awesome pump in the gym. You can use it on its own, and it's also a great option if you don't want extra caffeine. And finally, there's the Saw Fat Burner, a high stimulant thermogenic designed to support your cutting and weight management goals. This one also packs 259 milligrams of caffeine. I've really been enjoying the Saw lineup, so whether you're looking for more energy, insane pumps, or some extra help during weight loss or a cut, definitely check out Insane Labz. I'll put a link down in the comments below. Big thanks again to Insane Labz for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to the list.
I'll let you know that we're on our way.
The Domestics from 2018. In a post-apocalyptic America overrun by violent gangs, a troubled married couple must fight their way across the country to reach safety. I love the opening scene to this movie. It's a radio DJ host speaking about the world today, how crazy it is, but also kind of throwing a dark sense of humor through it all. And I love that the radio DJ is kind of sprinkled throughout the movie to kind of give you a little more insight about what's going on in the world. What gangs are around, where to go to, where not to go. We have our main couple played by Kate Bosworth and Tyler Hoechlin.
So you're really doing this?
Yep. You know, it's probably the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Who are leaving their home and taking this road trip to look for the wife's parents, who they haven't heard from in several weeks. And the trip is difficult because not only of the apocalypse and the gangs, of course, but they also have showed that there's a failed marriage going on. So that's going to make the journey that much more difficult. And the people that these two meet during the road trip, some people you wouldn't even think there's an apocalypse going on. They're the nicest people, some are terrible. So there's a little bit of everything along with their journey. So there's multiple different gangs. There's the Gamblers, the Plowboys, the Sheets, the Nailers, the Cherries, and the Domestics. And this is the important distinction. They aren't really a gang. It's kind of just a term for ordinary survivors who haven't joined one of the violent factions. Mark and Nina, our 2 main characters, are Domestics, which is where the movie gets its title from. There's also a scene of Kate Bosworth drinking whiskey out of a bottle and rocking out to the band Goatsnake. Just when you thought Kate Bosworth couldn't be any cooler, they throw that scene in. So that scene alone is worth watching. I highly recommend, if you want a badass, awesome apocalypse movie, check out The Domestics. Bliss from 2019. A struggling artist turns to drugs for inspiration, only to descend in a blood-soaked nightmare as a terrifying hunger begins taking over. This one is all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's complete excess in the entire movie, and it's just chaos.
I don't know, something came over me and then it all just started pouring out of me. I don't even remember doing it.
Dora Madison as Desi does a great job of showing that this drug just takes over her. She's lost in this world of being an artist and just trying to get by, which is kind of weird because they show her apartment. It looks like a 2,800 square foot apartment. So are you really trying to get by? But it's a movie. I can excuse that. But this movie takes a wild turn about halfway through, and that is worth checking this out. Nobody in this movie is very likable. Everyone is kind of has their own problems, has their own demons that they're dealing with. So there's no clear-cut good person here. It's just everyone trying to deal with their own personal issues. And the last 30 minutes of this movie is just so wild and fun to see. There's some fun, over-the-top practical effects and just some splatter chaos. If you're a fan of splatter horror, this one's for you. And the scene where she's driving in the car, top down, blood splattered all over her face, sunglasses on at night, it gave me a real Bill Paxton from Near Dark kind of vibe. I'm not sure if that's what they're going for, but that's the feeling I got watching this. Just someone who accepts the chaos and just dives right into it. There's also the boyfriend Jeremy Gardner, who's also a great filmmaker. If you've seen his movie The Battery, which is an awesome zombie movie, I highly recommend checking that one by Jeremy Gardner. But if you want a movie that's dirty and dark and chaotic and just blood-soaked, check out Bliss. Moving on to The Green Room from 2015.
This'll be over soon, gentlemen.
2 shots! 1 shot!
A punk band becomes trapped inside a remote club after witnessing a murder and must survive a brutal group of neo-Nazis. This is just a classic wrong place at the wrong time type of movie. This one is tension very early in the movie and it just holds for so long. It almost feels shot like a documentary. There's no fancy camera angles. It's just focused on the actors and their amazing acting, them reacting to the chaos that's going around them and just the crazy situation that's going on and them unwillingly having to deal with it.
We haven't done anything.
Doesn't matter.
We sit and we wait.
Trapped in a room at a place you're not familiar with, surrounded by people you're terrified of, and you have no idea their true intentions. And the gore in here is not flashy. It's very visceral and very blunt. So when it hits, it really leaves an impact.
Things have gone south, no doubt.
Patrick Stewart as Darcy is easily the best part of this entire movie. Everyone's freaking out in this movie, everyone's scared, everyone's angry, and then you have Patrick Stewart, who's calm, who's confident in everything he says, so it just makes him that much more intimidating. They always say the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest, and that one feels true with this movie. The scenario feels random, but you learn later on that it's not exactly that random. This one is so stressful, so intense, and just a really enjoyable watch. Patient 7 from 2016. A psychiatrist interviews 6 disturbed patients at a mental hospital, with each terrifying story revealing part of a much larger mystery. Look, I'm a simple guy. I see Michael Ironside in a movie, I watch that movie.
Really?
He plays a psychiatrist and he's interviewing these mental patients to ask them about their story and how they ended up in this hospital. And that's how we dive into each of these horror stories. So it's a really fun intermission to set up these creepy stories that come after.
They have no idea of the evil that walks in this world.
I love the first segment starring Amy Smart, and there's some really fun, creepy monster effects in this one. There's another patient who's terrified of plastic bags. I mean, emphasis on the mental patient in this one for sure. They really emphasize the weirdness that's going on with these patients that Michael Ironside is interviewing. The stories are short, but they're impactful and very creepy to watch. Highly recommend Patient 7. But speaking of creepy, we're moving on to Gaia from 2021.
A swarm of locusts swirling around the earth, faster and faster, and you think you can save them.
A forest ranger encounters a father and son living deep in the wilderness, where an ancient force of nature has begun to take hold. Our two main characters are just forest rangers having a normal day until a bad injury slows one of them down. Monique Rockman as Gabby is great here. She's a ranger but has no idea of this other life form that's in the forest. She gets injured and then meets these two off-the-grid survivalists and then initially thinks they're the bad guys, but that's not quite the case. This one definitely feels inspired by The Last of Us because of the creepy plant life, and also A Quiet Place because of all the silent scenes that go on during this movie. The plant fungus hunting humans is very eerie and a lot of fun to watch, which is why it's one of the pictures on the thumbnail in this video.
Who?
This one takes a little bit to get going, but trust me, it's worth it. There's a lot more emotion and relationship bonds than you would think that would happen in this kind of movie, and the ending hits like a truck. He's Out There from 2018. A mother and her 2 young daughters are terrorized by a mass killer while vacationing at an isolated lake house. This is such a great backwoods home invasion horror movie. It reminds me a lot of the movie The Strangers, except there's a single killer, and I think this one's better than The Strangers. That might be a hot take, but I enjoy this one even more. I love the idea of the mother having to protect the children and the father meeting them later at the house, so you don't know whether he's going to come for the rescue, be too late, be too early, not be helpful at all. So they add that extra element besides just the home invasion. You're not sure, is the dad coming home later going to save the day or just be another victim? You got to watch and find out.
Sean, is that you?
And Yvonne Strahovski as the mother here is so good. She really sells the terror of being stuck in this house, having to protect her children in this very vulnerable moment. She doesn't have anybody but her and the kids, and she's not quite sure who's stalking them. The killer is great. The mask is creepy as hell, which is why it's one of the pictures on the thumbnail in this video. If you want a great home invasion horror that has some legitimate scares, He's Out There is a must watch.
Give me the combination.
Babies in the salt, we all jump up.
The Owners from 2020. A group of young thieves break into an elderly couple's home expecting an easy score, only to discover they've chosen the wrong house. This is one of those movies where the longer you watch, the worse things get. It starts as one movie and it completely takes another direction, and then it takes another direction after that. There's so many different elements to this story. It's not your typical home invasion horror movie. It's so much more layered to that. The group of guys committing the home invasion shows they're all criminals, but there's different levels of criminals that they're at. Just how far someone's willing to go to get what they want. Rita Tushingham and Sylvester McCoy are so good here as the elderly couple coming home, having to deal with this problem in their own home. This one is tension for a lot of the movie, and you don't really know where it's going to lead. You'll watch half of the movie, and the second half almost feels like a completely different movie. It's that chaotic, but it's that well made. It has such a dark, twisted ending, and you'll never guess what it is until you watch it, which makes it a fun, exciting movie.
A gripping tale of lust and revenge.
Frankenhooker from 1990. After his fiancée is killed in a freak accident, a deranged inventor attempts to rebuild her using body parts from other women. And the award for the best movie title on this list goes to Frankenhooker. I just love this movie, and the title is so much fun. The concept is ridiculous, but I just love it. It's so campy and cheesy, so over the top.
Jeffrey Franklin has a plan.
I just want to bring it back.
He has the ingenuity.
You would think this is an 80s movie the way it's done and the way the overacting is done, but it's made in 1990. Like I said, the concept is insane, but it's played so straight, it just makes it that much more hilarious. No one's really winking at the camera. Everyone's playing this movie straight, which makes the chaos that much more hilarious. But then I found out the director, Frank Henenlotter, also made the movie Brain Damage and Basket Case, so it makes sense. So this movie fits perfectly in that circle, because this is just another day at the office for him. Our main character, James Lawrence, who plays Jeffrey Franken, is so funny, so good. He almost feels like a geek out of the show Saved by the Bell. That's how kind of campy he's playing it.
It's alive.
Looking for some action?
Oh, yeah. He's sexy.
On a date?
Patty Mullen as Elizabeth really makes this whole movie charming, and when she shows up, the rest of the movie is just gold. There's fun, cheesy practical effects, and so many head explosions in this movie. This might be a record because I just kept seeing it, and it's just a blast to see. It's just a very weird, over-the-top good time. But what's not a good time is the movie Who Invited Them from 2022. At least the characters in this movie are not having a good time.
I'm giving you guys to the count of 10. 10, 9.
A couple's housewarming party takes a sinister turn when 2 mysterious guests refuse to leave and reveal they may have ulterior motives. This is the classic 2 couples in the same house, and there's some awkwardness and some tension. It really feels like the movie Bone Lake, if you've seen that. It has that similar vibe where 2 couples don't really mesh, and it just brings up the tension throughout the movie. Melissa Tang and Ryan Hansen are great here. They're both kind of likable and unlikable at the same time. So I'll let you watch and decide for yourself what you think of them. And you kind of put yourself in their situation. What would you do to handle this friendly couple, but you don't really know their true intentions?
We weren't actually invited in the formal sense.
Or the informal sense.
Perry Mattfeld and Timothy Granaderos are so good here. They're very charming, but there's an evil energy going on while they speak, while they act. It feels like they're instigating everything by their actions and by what they say.
It's embarrassing, actually. We were just doing a little coke. So 80s.
Oh, do you have any left?
Margot.
This one just has a lot of awkward and uncomfortable psychological tension. And finally, I have to talk about one of the best horror series of all time, Tales from the Crypt, from season 1, episode 4, from 1989. A vain woman sells her beauty for quick cash, only to discover that getting it back comes with a horrifying price. I feel like when it comes to Tales from the Crypt episodes, you can always count on great character development and storytelling, and this one's the same deal.
Hey, honey, show me. You check this shit out.
And Leah Thompson is so good here. She's a woman of the night, looking to always make a deal, looking to always make a buck. And she comes across Britt Leach, who plays the creepy pawnbroker. And it's almost that deal with the devil situation. And this one has a lot of body horror with Leah Thompson kind of essentially selling her looks for a quick payday. And it really feels like the episode version of the movie The Substance, if you've seen that. There's some really dark body horror that gets amplified throughout the episode and just comes back to haunt her in the long term.
I could give you your beauty back. That's what you really want.
That's what I love about Tales from the Crypt. They always pick some great actors and actresses to fit the role perfectly on the intensity of these episodes. If you want something dark and a great 30-minute watch, this is where you'll find it. So those are 10 Tubi horror movies you've probably never seen, but if I had to pick one for you to watch tonight, my pick would be He's Out There. It's such a dark, creepy home invasion movie that's entertaining from the beginning to the end. I gotta get out of here. This insane Labz pre-workout's kicking in and it's time for my workout. I'll put some more videos up on the screen if you want to keep hanging out. Thanks for taking a deep dive into 10 Tubi horror movies you've probably never seen, and I'll catch you on the next one.